So the Dallas Cowboys just traded Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper just got traded to the Cleveland Browns. And I hate it. You know, there's a lot of sides of this thing. And, you know, I try to come on and be as middle as possible. You know what I mean? So I do have two sides to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the side that I absolutely hate about this transaction, and then we're going to talk about some of the reasons why the sky is not falling, because I do think both sides have some things that are worth mentioning here, right? So I'm going to try to, you know, just cover all sides and not just, you know, put my thoughts on this. Like, I have my opinions and you're gonna hear them. All this is basically my opinion, but I just want to break it down to sides. So if you like the upset fan or whatever, it's going to be like the first half of the video. But if you want like the sky is not falling bright side part of this, then it's going to be on the back end of the video. So let's start with the things that I absolutely hate about this transaction. I think the one thing that kind of struck a bad chord with everybody was the compensation that we got back for Amari Cooper. You know, both sides, you know, whether you were on the, you know, move on from Amari, keep Amari, no matter what side you were on, it all depended on the compensation, how you would ultimately feel about it, right? So the fact that we gained a 5th round pick and we swapped 6 rounders with the Browns, it feels like we got nothing from this exchange. We look at Amari Cooper as a top player, and I know there's people in the chat box that think differently. Like Reddy Red hates Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper's a really good, like we paid a 1st round to get him. You know what I mean? He's a really, really good receiver, and he's a wide receiver number 1. He's probably going to go to the Browns and be a wide receiver number 1. I think he is he could be a target machine because of his route running. He simply gets open, and the fact that we only walk away from this thing with a 5th round pick and swapping, I don't even count swapping 6 rounders, because they could have gave me a 5th and a 6th and I wouldn't be happy. I had to give y'all a 6. Just for you to give me a 5th back. I hate it, you know? And I think for the caliber of player, I would have rathered some more compensation, because if you go to whether it be the Cowboy spaces, different Cowboy YouTubers, you know, just different people talking on social media and forums, we all could agree, hey man, look, if we gonna trade Amari, I need like a 2nd or something. You know, end of the 1st to be cool. Amari Cooper's still like a late 20-year-old. He's a young wide receiver number 1. And the fact that we got a day 3 pick is just sickening, sir. And ma'am, whoever it is watching right now, it's just sickening to me. You know, and Cooper's one of my favorite players. So to see him go out like this and to be sent to the Browns, it's just heart-wrenching. On another note, as I was just thinking about it while I was driving, because this was upsetting the hell out of me, if we would have simply moved on from Amari Cooper and he would have re-signed to Washington, because, you know, he was going to sign to Washington, but he took, Washington offered him more money to go play there, but he took a little bit of less money to come play for the Cowboys. If he would have took that big contract in Washington and we would have lost him there, we would have got a 3rd round pick, a 3rd round comp pick for him, compensatory pick for him. But instead, we're here with our 5th and our swapped 6th, which sucks to me. Then, like, another thing, you know, that the keep Amari Cooper crowd really hates about this trade is how bad this offense looks without him. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like when Amari Cooper went out with COVID, we was like, oh, okay, well, the offense is still doing fine. We're okay. You know, we look terrible without Amari Cooper. It's just he was that trickle down effect for us. He was that, okay, focus on Coop so that these guys can get open. Middle of the defense opens up, and now we get to do some run game things, right? Like, you know, that was one of the good things about Amari Cooper. Plus, if y'all were in like any kind of, you know, one-on-one man coverage, Amari Cooper was damn near automatic to beat his guy. So I don't think this was about Amari Cooper the player, and I damn near don't even think this was about his cap number. I just think I hope that it was about saving $16 million and not about some personal vendetta over like getting vaccinated or not. Because if that was the case, I'd be even more upset, and I'd be probably like flip my furniture upset, you know. I'm probably not gonna be flip my furniture upset. I don't get that upset, but I would be taken aback. But I don't think that the front office should have personal vendettas over players like that. I don't think that your roster management should be indicative of how you feel about a player personally or their personal decisions. It should be about their play and only their play. Like, get out my business. It ain't like Amari Cooper hit a woman or robbed a bank or sold weed or got caught with 80 pounds of weed at an airport or at the border or something like that. He just didn't want to take a vaccine. So when he got COVID, the front office had a funny little face to make about him. That's his decision. He can do what he wants. So I'm hoping that this is about $16 million and not about his COVID vaccination status. We're this thing just is gonna take some reinventing. We were a team that we would consider when Kellen took over and Dak is our quarterback, then we're a number one offense. Like by yardages, by many numbers we're top 5, but by other numbers we're a number one offense. I think now we have to look into changing our identities now. We have to look into we don't have Amari Cooper, so do we reinvest in the offensive line to make this a more run heavy attack now? Like how do we redistribute possessions or targets or opportunities in this offense? And that's on Kellen, that's on Dak, and that's on the front office to hopefully continue to draft well, because this 100% affects the draft, but to continue to draft well and hopefully we can turn this thing into something. I feel good about our defense moving forward, but this shit sucks, bro. And here are some reasons why I don't think the sky is falling. Now, there's a crowd of people that feel like we wasted a first-round pick to get Amari Cooper. I don't think that's the case. We acquired him in 2018, and we gave up a first-round pick for him. That's about what you would get for a first-round pick. It's a 4-year deal for him, right? 18, 19, 20, and the 21 season, right? So it's like you drafted Amari Cooper, but you didn't exercise his 5th-year option because his $22 million, however much it was going to be, would be too expensive. So I don't feel like we wasted a player. I wasted a draft pick. I think we got some pretty good years from that draft pick. So if I had to be realistic about it, any player that you get, they're gonna be 4-year players, unless they're an undrafted or something, or like a true first-round pick that you drafted for. And I think Amari Cooper gave us first-round pick level production even more. So I don't think that the pick was wasted. I'm just more so upset. I already explained what I was upset about. But just if we would have gotten more back in compensation, I don't want to lose Cooper. Nobody wanted to lose Cooper. But that's the one thing that was weird about it. But nah, we didn't waste picks on Amari Cooper. And like I said on the other segment, if this was about whatever, then I would be upset about that. But if this is about the 16 M's, then hey, we have 16 M's now. Now this is what's interesting, right? Because the offseason isn't over. So the 3 players that we were looking at losing, it was DeMarcus Lawrence, it was Amari Cooper, and it was who else? And La'el Collins, right? La'el Collins. So in real life, if we only lose Amari Cooper and La'el Collins and the rest of the team stays together, then I would consider that a W. So what gives me some kind of a wait and see type of approach? I know that Cowboy fans are very impatient with Stephen Jones, and I'm starting to be that way. I just don't get into ruckus and hubbub about things. I just like to wait and see things, see how things are going to play out. If we have enough cap space to make a lot of moves in free agency. Now, we're normally a team that doesn't make many moves in free agency, but what if we take this freed up money and we do something with it, right? Because it's not like we're just only here to save money, because we're under the cap. Like, we were under the cap when we cut Zerline and Gregory, right? So we were there. It's just that the filling in the auxiliary pieces is what was the big point of this thing. So if you free up $16 million, you free up however much money you're going to free up with the La'el thing. Maybe you hit one more button on one of your big contract players, and all of a sudden you got cap room. I don't think this cap room is just to have cap room. This cap room is to do something with it. So I would like to wait and see what the end result of this is going to be. If we take this money and that La'el Collins money, and which the good thing about La'el Collins money is that we do have faith that Terrence Steele can play, regardless of who you think the better player is. I think it's La'el. Regardless of who you think the better player is, we know Terrence Steele can play. So you can live with that Leal decision. If we take the money that we gain from those two players and we do some shit with it, then I think you'll walk away from, feeling better for that. You know what I mean? So my biggest point in this is that the off season is not over with, so you can definitely relax on that. I definitely think some free agent help is on the way, and you might just need some money to just do something with. So we'll see. This is a big wide receiver draft class, so I think it's pretty much confirmed that we're going to use I'm not going to say a first round pick. I'm not going to guarantee say that because it's a pretty big wide receiver class, right? And you only really can say like you're probably going to go best player available and then trickle down from there. So if the best player on the board is a receiver, you'll probably go there and then trickle down from that. But if the best player on the board is a guard, don't feel upset. Like just take that guard and still you can trickle down from that and find a wide receiver in the later rounds, or find a guard in the later rounds, or find a linebacker in the later rounds. It's just so convenient that the Cowboys need role players and we need players at these particular positions. The draft is full of those guys, so that's something that we can help feel good about. Also, on that same point, if I was to tell you, hey man, in 2 years we're going to let go of Amari Cooper, you might want to prepare yourself for that. What would you do? Well, you would probably draft a wide receiver to account for the loss of Amari Cooper. And it just happens that we did that early. Now, don't panic, because this is we're in color now, right? This is the non-panic segment. So you could draft a wide receiver to replace Amari Cooper, but I think that'll be panicky because I think you did that with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is a star, and he's going to be a star. He was your leading receiver last year. You understand? So it's just that it's easy to get comfortable with the idea of we have two number one receivers. Like, that's a fun thing to think about. But teams win all the time with just one number one receiver. Teams really win with no number one receiver sometimes. But we just happen to be so happy and blessed that we had two. So now we got one. And I'm not digging the idea of hey, Voch, we're just gonna go back to wide receiver by committee. That's not what this is. Wide receiver by committee was Deontay Thompson, Allen Hurns, Terrence Williams, guys of that nature. If it was like 4 Cedric Wilsons, like that shit is wide receiver by committee. If it was Cedric Wilson, Noah Brown, Malik Turner, and Semi Fajoku, that's wide receiver by committee. We actually have a number one receiver. We actually have a number 2 receiver in Michael Gallup that's better than all the receivers that was by that committee. So it's not like we suck at wide receiver. We just need to clean things up. So we lose Amari Cooper, and the wide receiver core as a whole gets a little worse. But if you just simply draft someone, and like I said, if the best player on the board at 24 is a wide receiver, then fine. You just live in a world where you have an established number one receiver, a growing number one receiver, and Michael Gallup being like your number 2 level guy, and you just move those guys around and do what the hell you want. But you're not pigeonholed into doing that. If the number one player on the board is Jordan Davis, take Jordan Davis, feel good about your decision, and take a second round receiver. Take Sky Moore, take John Mechie, take whoever the hell falls, right? Whoever you feel good about playing in general, those dudes have no pressure because, hey, we're walking into CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup's wide receiver core. I just got to come in, catch passes, and run routes. You understand? So this is not wide receiver by committee. You've already drafted your number one receiver, your Amari Cooper replacement. If we have a gripe about CeeDee Lamb, is just about how he was used, and that's a Kellen Moore decision, and this is a make or break year for Kellen Moore. So if CeeDee Lamb is our number one and we're not using him properly, then it's Sean Payton season, easy peasy, just like that. I don't think we're gonna have like a talent problem at wide receiver. Like if we re-sign Malik Turner, he was our wide receiver 3, I would feel 100% fine. If he was our wide receiver 3 and we didn't draft wide receiver high, I wouldn't feel bad about that at all. You know what I mean? I like, hey, that's a good set of 3 receivers. I feel good about the rest of the things that we're doing. Hey, let's boogie. Let's keep this train going. You understand? I think rebuilding the offensive line is probably more important than having 2 number ones at wide receiver, but that's only Voch's personal opinion. You ain't got to listen to me. You understand? Is that everything on my notes? I think that's everything I have on my notes. If I think of something else, it'll probably come up in a live stream in the future, something like that. I just wanted to put this out, talk about both sides of it, because I did hate some sides of it, but there are some, I think we should just chill and wait to the end of the offseason. We should wait and see how the draft looks. We should wait and see what we're going to do in free agency. And then when those things are over, we'll be like, yeah, we ain't that bad. we ain't that bad. We all right. It's easy to overreact in times like this, and I know, it's easy to go find a YouTuber that's flipping furniture, that's upset, that's screaming, cussing out other YouTubers and shit. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna go there. Hey man, y'all follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI. Y'all hit the like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. We got some good things coming for the future of this channel. So and it was all because of y'all. So I appreciate you. And follow me on Patreon if you want to see film on draft prospects, if you want to see film on Cowboys when Cowboys season goes around. I do all 22 on patreon.com/vochlombardi. See you over there. You hold it down for the Doski Woski and Peasky Whiskey. If you cry, don't do it too much. If you're happy, don't make somebody else that's sad, think you're obnoxious because you're walking around happy. Let's just be neutral. All right, peace.